Hi guys, I'm here with you today. You get to see my pretty face. This is my morning face. I'm in my studio and I just wanted to show you. I'm also going to do a video on blooms, but I wanted to show you the mixing process, and I'll bring you down here my box that I got from Arteza. I bought from Arteza, but the 35 mica powders. I wanted to show you how to mix them for the blooms. So I'm going to be showing you the colors, showing you inside the box, and then I'm also going to be doing a show you how to mix it, how I mix it for the blooms and what I use. And I also I'm going to attach a video of a bloom for you, so you'll get to see that too. So let me get the camera down so we can see the paints and not my pretty morning face. Hold on. Oh, I might have to adjust it a little bit here. Where is the knob? I can never find it when I need it. Okay, there we go. All right. So this is the 35 mica powder colors. I don't think you can get the bigger kit right now, so it's just you can get the 35 one, and it was I think $28, and then you have to pay for shipping, of course. So it wasn't too bad. It was really good actually for mica powders. And you get, I have these all turned upside down so you can see the bottom colors. But they come in these bottles, pretty good size bottles. They are, what are they, 0.35 ounces. So, Arteza, I keep saying that wrong, gives you a card when you open up your box. And this card explains how some of the bottles are full and some of them aren't. And that has to do with weight densities, so or weight, not volume. Some of the pigments are heavier than other pigments. So that is your nice assortment that you get from Arteza. Okay, I'm just going to say Arteza, I guess. And they have some really cool colors. And I will go through those with you. Here they all are. I mixed them all up yesterday. Took me most of the day to get these done. And I put a little dot of the color on the lid, especially when you first mix these up. They are very pale, and so they don't really look like the color. So I always recommend that you put a dot of color on, and then you always know when you're picking it up what it's going to look like dried. The pouring mediums have a tendency to do that to your paint. It makes them look kind of cloudy. So pretty normal, and with most of them. And these did mix up really well. So I'm going to show you that, but I wanted to go over the colors first. So the only thing this kit is missing for me is a red, like a red. They have, like pinky reds and brownie reds, but they don't have a red. So they have raspberry red, light plum, wineberry, rose gold, strawberry red. That one's more of a copper kind of red. Light plum, magenta, and then into the pinks they have the bubblegum. What did I do? Okay, so those are all the reds. Then they have the greens, a lemongrass green, moss green, lettuce green, frosty sage, amethyst, iris purple, lavender. Those are the purples. Good range of purples there from light to dark. Ice blue, sapphire blue, bright blue. Those are the blues. So 3 blues, 2 browns, caramel brown and chocolate brown. That's going to be really pretty with my beaches, those 2. There's quite a few golds. So, well, they've got 4 golds. So there's pure gold, yellow gold, copper, light gold, Aztec gold, and bronze. And then there's a space gray. So they put a gray in there. And they have 2 chameleon colors, which are blue and green. And these, you can see the shift color in them. They shift. The only thing is I don't think the base colors are very pretty. So I don't know where you would use those. So I guess they would just, you have to use them in with other colors and other pours. They have 5 interference colors. So they have bubblegum, gold, periwinkle, sage, and ballerina. And those are, they all have they're white, but they have a shift and iridescent to them. So you could add those to other colors to make them shift, or you can just use them by themselves. And those are the interference colors. And then there is a pearl white and a crystal white. And the crystal white has a lot of shimmer in it. It's like a pearl white, but it has shimmer. And then the pearl white is just pearl. So there you are. Those are all their colors. I'm going to move these out of the way. For the money, it's a really good deal. We'll see how they bloom up when I go to use them for blooms. But right now I'm going to show you how I mix. I'm just trying to move some of them out of the way so I can show you how I mix the pigments for a bloom. All right, so I have my little 2-ounce cup. I prefer the larger cups, but I could not get them. So these are the 4-ounce cups. I like those better. But we're going to use this. So let's pick out a color here. Doesn't really matter. I've mixed them all up. But let's do sapphire blue. I picked a blue because I use a lot of blue. So, all right. So when they come, they have the little paper thing on them. Take that off very carefully. Pigments are very fine and they like to fly in the air. So I'm very careful with them. You don't want to breathe them in. It's a good idea to wear a mask or a respirator while you're mixing up pigments. I am dispersing my pigments in Liquitex pouring medium. I tried my polyacrylic and I liked it, but I think the pouring medium works better. And because these are pigments, they're powders, they don't have a lot of weight to them. So I am not mixing them with any polyacrylic or any varnish. The only thing they're getting is this little bit of extra pouring medium, which you're going to see is very little. Okay, so I pour some in the cup in the bottom. Don't put your pigments in first because they're harder to stir up. So you're just coating the bottom with your pouring medium. Not very much. All right, then I'm taking a popsicle stick. They give you a tiny scoop thing that is in the kit, but I think the popsicle sticks work better because you're going to have to dip in there 3 or 4 times to get the amount. Now I'm using a good amount. You know, I like my bloom paints to have a lot of kick to them. So I don't know if you can see how loaded up that is, but it's quite a bit. So that goes down in there. And then I hold it away from me and stir very carefully at first because you just want to get that pigment wet and you don't want it flying around the room. You definitely don't want to get these in your lungs. They'll be there forever, somebody said. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah. So what I was doing yesterday when I was mixing up a bunch of these is I would get it wet and stir it up, you know, really mash it in there because you really want to get that pigment, you know, go after it really aggressively. Scrape your sides. Make sure there's a little groove in the bottom of these cups, so make sure you get all of it mixed up. And then I would just set it aside for a couple minutes and mix up another one. And then when I got the other one mixed up, then I would go ahead and put the base paint in there because it just gives it time for them to dissolve. But as you can see, it dissolves pretty well. The Artezas are pretty good. Now, I did not add, which I normally do, if you watch my videos, I normally add some tube paint to them, but I decided not to. I want to really experiment with just the pigments by themselves, or the mica powders by themselves. So after I get that dissolved in there, you're dispersing those pigments into something, and the pouring medium I find works really well, Liquitex. It is pricey. I don't remember how much this bottle was, but it's $27, $28. But, you know, try and get it with your 40% off coupon or get it on sale. So this is my base paint that I'm using, Glidden Premium, and it is a base 3. I don't know if you can see that up there, semi-gloss. So this works really well for the blooms. Okay, so I have that in a cup. And what I do at this point is just kind of eyeball it. No measurements really. But it's kind of a 3-to-1 mixture. 4-to-1, maybe with the pigments is a little different. So I'm just going to pour that in. And I was going about 3/4 of the container. And then you just stir that up really well. But you're going to see how cloudy it gets. And then I'm going to show you after it's sitting overnight, the difference in the color. But even, you'll see even a difference between the color that's sat overnight in the container and then what's on the top that has dried. Because all these paints dry clear. So you can see how white it is. Do not panic. It is not going to dry that way. All right. So that's all you have to do. Very easy, simple bloom mixture. All right. And let me just say, I don't say this every single video, but Shelly Carruthers is the master of this. She's the queen. And if you really want to learn all the steps, you know, it took me probably 1.5 years to master this. So if you don't want to spend 1.5 years trying to figure things out, just go and pay for the video, pay for the class, because she's awesome, and she can really give you everything you need to know about doing this whole method. All right, so this is the same blue, and that's what it dries like, that color. All right, so it definitely dries a lot darker, and this didn't change very much from overnight. So it's still that same color. Maybe a little bit darker? No, I think this one's actually darker. I probably got more pigment in there than I did in this one. But anyhow, that is your mixing video on how to mix your bloom paint. So I will be right back. I'm going to get set up and we're going to do some blooming with these colors. Okay, we're back. We're going to do some blooming. I wanted to show you guys real quick. Remember in the last 2 videos ago, I did the blooms from the Art Alchemy, and I did them on these little panels. So I have my whole stack here now is all cleaned off. And this is what they did. I cut these into flower shapes so I can use them on a canvas at some point. Just glue them down to the canvas after you can do a background and then glue these down. But yeah, they just come right off. They have a shiny plastic, it's like a piece of plastic, and then you can just cut them into any shapes you want. So I have a whole stack of the colors. Pretty cool, huh? So just if you ever want to do little samples and then you can use them for something else later on. They look kind of cool. Cut into flower shapes, and you can do half flowers or full flowers, or yeah. So I'll be doing a project with those at some point. Just wanted to show you that. All right, I have this is a 6x6 tile. I finally learned my lesson. It is taped. I took the time to tape those. I've got some paints picked out. I am going to use all the Arteza paints just because this is an Arteza video. So Arteza, who knows? All right, so the first color combination, I'm going to do a white background and I'm going to do a blue. And I'm going to do a bloom and then some swipes, I think. So I've got my paint down. As you can tell, very bubbly. I just mixed it up. So let's start with, I think I'm going to do a black cell activator. My cell activator is mixed with my Australian Floetrol. Get this little teeny tiny bottle, but this lasts a long time. So you don't use much of your cell activator, and it will last you a long time. All right, so I'm going to go with Amethyst. Now remember too, I didn't go over this when I was mixing the paint and showing you the kit, but I did all these colors just by themselves. But you don't have to do that. If you want a specific color, you can mix these up. So just be aware of that. If they don't have a, you can't really make a red, like I said, but you could make an orangey color if you wanted that. You could make a turquoise by mixing the blue and green. So there are things you can do to get other colors. You can always mix these together, mix the pigments together. Get creative. Right. My base paint is my Color Place that I get at Walmart. It is white and satin. But I have used the semi-gloss in the past, and that works too. So either one. That color was lavender. The light blue was ice blue. And this is rose gold. And I'm going to put a little bit of the pure gold. I'm just going to drizzle that on. As you can see, I reuse my sticks. The only thing I will say about reusing sticks after you mix mica powders or pigments is they are very strong. So they will stick to the stick unless you wipe them off really well. So I try to put them back in the same colors they were in, or use the other side of the stick, either way. I'm just going to pop some of these bigger bubbles in this base. Okay. And we're going to put some black cell activator on. I did not add any more Floetrol to this, so we'll see if it's, it might be too thick. I don't know. Okay. And I'm going to lift the camera up today so you guys can hopefully watch me blow this out. So first I go down in the center and blow it out like that, and then just blow out the petals. All right, and there, oh, sorry, there's the blow. So let's put that back down. I'm just going to move some of that paint out to the corners. Just gives me a little bit of time to let that bloom kind of come back in to the center. Oh, would help if I put you back down. See, that's why I don't move the camera, because then I forget. Okay, you're back down. Don't worry about messing up your outer petals, because those are going to get blown off or spun off anyway. You can see my center is coming back in. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of modification here. I want this to look more like a flower, so I'm going to pull these in. Into the center. Okay. All right, that's a beautiful bloom. Really pretty colors. I don't see the gold. The gold disappeared, but it's really light, and I know that it's going to show up when I spin it. Okay, let's give it a spin. There's a lot of paint in that center, I can tell when I was modifying it. It was moving around quite a bit, so we're gonna need to get some of that paint off of there. Oh, pretty, pretty, pretty. I'm just moving it off to that one corner. See if we can get some of that off of there. Okay, we're going to move it back the same way you came. Okay. And I think we're okay. I think we've got enough off of there. I'm just going to get rid of this. Just get a little bit more oomph in the center. Mess it up a little bit. All right. So first bloom is done. Really like those colors together. I almost wish I had put an interference in there, but I think it'll dry really pretty, and I'll show you the dried results. So let me get that over on a cup. And let's move on to the next color combination. I try to stick generally with harmonious colors. Talk about that all the time. Those are colors that are close to each other on the color wheel and like right next to each other. You can go 3 or 4 down, and you're always going to be safe. You're never going to get mud if you do that. So try to keep that in mind. Let's go. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for a swipe. Let's try this color combination. I have Space Gray magenta, ballerina slipper, or ballerina glow, just a ballerina. This is an interference color. I think it's going to have like a pink. And then raspberry red. So let's try those. I've got the dark. The dark is going to be the gray. I want to see how it shows up. I might do I want to do a split base. I could do a split base with a black cell activator. Let's clean this off. Okay, next tile. I'm going to do a big one. This is an 8x8. Okay, it'll be a good size one for you guys to see. Let's do a split base. So this is my black, oxide black satin by Color Place. When you're doing a bloom swipe, you don't need as much paint on the base. You don't need like a huge pillow. So just get it on there and move it around so that it's covered. You want to have a good amount, but it doesn't have to be as thick. Okay. My next video, I'm going to be mixing the pigments. I got 3 TLP pigments, so I'm going to be trying those out. And I'm going to mix all of the Art Alchemy and the Arteza paints or pigments and see what we get. Just to see how they interact with each other. I think they'll be fine. I've always mixed my, well, I shouldn't say I've always mixed mine because I've always just used color art. So this Arteza adventure is just to see cost-wise. I think it's going to be more cost-effective, but we'll see. I think it'll be nice to have the mixture and be able to use them all. All right, so let's go with some of the, what is this color? I don't know these real well yet. I believe this is the rose gold. Important when you're doing a swipe, if you don't want to have to tilt it very much, I recommend, this is the Space Gray. I recommend that you go all the way to the edges with the swipe and with the colors. And this one is, what is this one? I've lost my lids. I do not know. I think this is magenta. I'll find out and I'll put it in the description. Okay, and this is the ballerina. And I put that one last because I'm going to use a black cell activator. And I've got my handy dandy playing cards here. So we're just going to put some cell activator onto. I'm always afraid to do it over what I'm doing to show you guys, but so I'm just getting a good amount on there. Make sure it's all the sides of it are covered. And I'm just going to dip into that ballerina and pull down. wipe the card off. More cell activator. So funny when you wipe the card onto the, piddle pad or whatever you have down, it creates cells. The cells on the pad too. It's really pretty. And then you hate to mess them up. Okay. Try and get as close as you can to that other one you just did. Slow and deliberate. Try to keep even pressure all the way down. Okay, one more little corner. All right. Just wiping off my card. Lay down some paper towels. I just covered up those pretty cells that were down there. Okay, let's flip it around. Loading up my card again. If you have this on a spinner, make sure that you hold on to the spinner as you're going. Otherwise it will move, and you don't want that. Make sure you lay it down carefully and just pull. I like these Arteza pigments so far. They're very pretty. The colors are very pretty so far. I'll be anxious to see what they do when they dry. And remember that white in the center is that ballerina, so it's got a little bit of that interference in it. Okay, and let's give one last little swipe there. I'm going to spin this out and then we'll swirl it. See, I remembered. I didn't 2 videos ago. Or was it the last? It was the last video. Although that one came out really pretty. Really, really pretty. I'll have to show it to you guys. Dried nice. I like those Art Alchemy colors too. It's going to be fun to have a bunch of different ones going on. No reason, in my opinion, to stay with one brand. Try them all if you can. Okay, let's give it a spin. I just wiped off that extra paint so that when I spin it, it doesn't go everywhere. Okay. It's going everywhere anyway. I gave it a pretty hard spin that time. All right. Let's give that a swirl. I think we got enough paint off of there. The white side is definitely showing up more, way more dramatic. But the black side, you can't really see it. I'll give you, when I give you a close-up, you'll see it, but very cool too. I'm just going to dip here one more time. I didn't like that line there. Okay, let's give this a swirl. I'll make sure you guys are in here so you can see the whole thing. When I'm swirling, I just try to find, you know, big patches of color and break those up. So that's part of my spinning. All right, that one turned out really pretty. I love it. Love it, love it. I'm gonna give, hopefully I don't mess it up, but I'm going to swipe one more little swipe right here. Just wasn't crazy about that line there. And that should sell out fine. All right, guys, there is number 2. And we have some awesome, which I'm hoping will, with some of those iridescents, can you see that black on black lacing? I don't know if it's showing up or not, but really pretty. That one's going to be subtle, but I love the colors in there. All right, let's get that on top. And let's do another swipe. This time I'm just going to do a black base, and I want to try out the interference colors. So this one will be more about what it looks like when it's dried than it will when it's wet. All right, let's get those out of the way. The ones I just used. I don't know where that other pink lid went to. I don't see it anywhere. That's so weird. Okay. You can tell I'm on a pink kick today. Everything's been pink. Let's get the another big tile. All right, let's get some black base down. Got a little bit too much on there. let's go with, I want to try one isn't going to be pure white. It's called the Chameleon Blue. So I think I'm going to put that on top of the other colors. And we'll see what it does on the black. I think it's going to be really cool. So the first one I'm using is called Bubblegum Glow. They're all glow. I'm just going to give that a little stir. It has like a pink iridescent to it. Let's go, I'm going to go like off a little bit here. I don't know why, I'm just feeling it today. All right. This one is the Periwinkle. And I'm assuming it has a blue, a bluish purple. Okay, this one is called Sage, which is obviously a green. And then a gold. All right, and then I'm going to use my chameleon color, which has a blue hue to it. But in the cup, it's not a pretty color at all. Agreed? Agreed. I'm just hoping when it dries, we're going to get that blue sparkle coming through it. All right, and we're going to do our black swipe. Just loading up my card. I'm going to go right through that chameleon. I just need to put down another paper towel. Pretty, it's selling up nice. And because the two blacks are just a little bit different, you're going to get a black on black lacing, which is very cool. I've had that in some other pieces. It's very subtle, but it's there. And I am putting pressure as I go, but not super hard. You don't want to pull that base paint through everything, so put some pressure on it, just not a lot. Once you do it a few times, you'll get the feel of it. Okay, let's flip that around. Really pretty cells. I'm excited. Really excited to see these when they get dried and see all that shimmer in there. Ooh, I got some of that blue-green up. I can see it. And then one of them must have a purple iridescent, because I'm getting a lot of purple coming through. Unless it's just because the pink and the blue mixed. Maybe it's that chameleon. And actually, I'm not minding the color of the chameleon so much. It's kind of a nudie pink color, so just by itself, it is really pretty with the interferences. Interference colors. All right, let's get some of this extra paint off of here. I know there's a lot of black base on there, so I know it's going to go flying. And yeah, I can already see the interference colors happening. I don't know if that's picking up on camera at all, but we've got the greenish blues up here, and we've got the purples down here. So that's really cool. I'm just trying to decide. I'm thinking. I have some lines that I'm not crazy about, and I don't think they're going to swipe out well, so I'm going to go back in. Okay. Move these out of the way so they don't get paint in them. I have so many paints right now. I'm going to have to find a bin or something to put them all in, because they are everywhere now. I have the Arteza was a 35 set. I had 16 new Art Alchemy colors. I have 3 Little Piggy colors. I have them everywhere. But it's good because I have choices now. I can just play. All right, let's give that one a spin. I'm going to tilt it a little bit. Oh, wow. When I tilted it, I can really see those interference colors. They are super pretty. I want it to be off center, but I didn't want it to be, I didn't want to lose all of that, so I just tilted it down a little bit. And again, I'm going to get rid of some of this paint so it doesn't fly. And the black on black sells really pretty. Okay. All right. Very cool. Very cool. I love that. And I'm just going to give it a little swirl at the top. Pretty simple. I think I have enough paint off of here. I'm going to test how much is in the center there. Yeah, I think I'm okay. Not very much. So let's give it a swirl. I could leave it, but I like the swirl better. It's not going to be a big one though. It's going to break up that center line a little bit, some of those wonky cells. Oh yeah. Very pretty. Very dramatic. Love that one. All right, guys. And that one I will, well, I'll give you a close-up on all of these. I'm just going to pull this down here. I didn't like how that was setting. Those cells up there. All right, I will give you guys a close-up, and you can see how pretty these are. Really pretty up close. Right? Okay, guys, here's your close-up. I have my flash on, so you can see the iridescent and the sparkle from those mica powders. You see that? Yeah. This was the first swipe we did. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? And those are those black on black. Sorry, I'm not getting a good focus here, but that's the black on black cells I was talking about. Just love that sparkle. And this is what it will do when you resin it. You get that kind of 3D sparkly effect. Very pretty. So that's the first swipe I did. This is the bloom. There's that gold. Can you see the gold now? It did show up, but it just kind of dispersed and made a kind of a sparkle over the whole thing. So what's so cool about the bloom technique is you just cannot get that effect any other way. Just totally cool lacing. So here is the iridescent one with all the interference colors. Really pretty. Sparkle, and then just see that interference color there? Just pops through. Oh, look at that. Wow. Super sparkle. There's all that gold, the black on black lacing. Wow, look at that. Really pretty. Yep, I don't know where all that purple's coming from, but maybe it was the ballerina. All right, guys, that's your video for this week. I will see you next week in the studio. Have a great week. Thanks. Bye-bye.